Hi, my name is Sydney Pinnell, and I'm doing my book review on Looking for Alaska by John Green. Imagine taking your whole life and beginning new. Imagine going through your life fighting to get to the top from nothing. Imagine picking yourself up after a parent's death and leaving an abusive one behind. Imagine being the misunderstood rich kids. Well, you'll meet all of these characters at the prestigious college prep Culver Creek in the middle of nowhere. You find yourself amidst strangers and you're trying to figure out where you fit in. This is what Miles Halter sees when he arrives in the nasty, hot, and humid summer he began there on his journey to learn more than he was bargaining to. Looking for Alaska was my favorite author, John Green's first novel. John Green is an American author who also wrote the popular title The Fault in Our Stars, which was later made into a film in 2014, starring Shailene Woodley and Ansel Elgort. John Green is not only an author of incredible young adult books, but is also known for his YouTube channel, The Vlogbrothers, with his brother Hank. They make educational videos, including Crash Course, that are shown by teachers in their classroom on literature, history, and science. John Green was also recognized as one of the 100 most influential people in the world in Time magazine in 2014. Now let's go back a little bit into John's early life. He was born on August 24, 1977, in Indianapolis, Indiana, to Mike and Sydney Green. His family moved to Michigan, then to Alabama, and ended up in Florida. He went to Indian Springs School and graduated in 1995. This was the third school he attended, and this is the place he got his inspiration from to create the setting of Culver Creek in the book. Later, he earned a double major in English and Religious Studies from Kenyon College in 2000. He was actually bullied as a teen and has spoken on how it affected him negatively and went into his writings. 5 months after graduation, he worked as a student chaplain at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Ohio. He actually wanted to become a priest, but with his experience of working with sick kids, he was inspired to become an author instead. Now that we have seen a glimpse into who the author John Green is, we can look into a little about the novel itself. Looking for Alaska is a young adult fiction. It is a medium-length novel that is set up with a before starting the book and an after in the middle up until the ending. It was originally published in March 2005 by Dutton Juvenile. They are a U.S. children's book publishers associated with the Dutton Adult Division. They've been publishing books since 1852 with numerous award-winning titles such as the Golden Kite Award. The novel has been translated and published into over 30 different languages for many high school and college curricula. Ironically, though, the book has been banned and challenged a lot over a sexually explicit scene that was actually awkward and meaningless, according to Green. And in fact, according to the American Library Association, Looking for Alaska was actually the #1 most challenged book of 2014. It also made appearances in ALA's top 10 most challenged books list in 2012, 2013, and 2014. Other notable entries on the list include the Captain Underpants books by Dave Pilkey, 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher, and Two Boys Kissing by David Lethlean. There are many themes in Looking for Alaska: death, guilt, independence, meaning of life, finding yourself, and many more. Death is the main theme in the book, because this is what everything in the book revolves around. From Alaska's mother's death to Miles trying to find out what happens when you die, Alaska is the one character in the book that is fully associated with death itself. It has played an important role in her life and also the other characters too. There are many instances where Miles tries to figure out why this has happened and what death is really about. The book uses death as a theme to show the readers that death is something inevitable but something you're not really prepared for. It is set up in this non-traditional way that Green presented to teach one of his major themes that the end is not really the end. The book got 4 out of 5 rating by Goodreads and Common Sense Media, and a 4.5 out of 5 by Dogo Books. It has numerous awards. In 2006, it won the Michael L. Prince Award and Los Angeles Times Book Prize finalist 2005, a 2005 Teens Top 10 selection, an ALA Best Book for Young Adults Top 10, an ALA Quick Pick for Reluctant Young Readers, a Booklist Editor's Choice, a Kirkus Best Book of 2005, a School Library Journal Best Book of the Year, a New York Public Library Book for the Teenage, Silver Inky Award in Australia, Barnes & Noble Discover Great News New Writer Selection, Border Original Voices Selection, and one of Common Sense Media's essential books for kids and teens. As some of you might recognize, John Green also wrote the popular title The Fault in Our Stars. This book was made with inspiration from John's work in a children's hospital. The main characters, Hazel Grace Lancaster and Augustus Waters, both suffer from cancer. Hazel has aggressive thyroid cancer, and Augustus is an amputee from his suffering of cancer. They meet at a support group where they soon fall deeply in love. It's a beautiful and tragic love and death story. Both the film and the book had immense success. The characters he created in Looking for Alaska, though, reflected characters in his own life, but the story itself is still fiction. The story is told from the point of view of the main character, Miles Halter, nicknamed Pudge. Now let's get a view of Pudge's arrival at Culver Creek and his journey of learning all about the new people he soon becomes extremely close to. As he leaves for school, his parents are overly worried about his fitting in and getting used to boarding school life. He assures his parents that he will be fine, but they continue to be worried about their timid and quiet son. He assures his parents and he soon meets Chip the Colonel. He is called this since he is the boss, taking charge and is always having best plans on mischief. Chip is a borderline genius and always can work someone up. He is short-tempered and has a nicotine addiction. Actually, for a few days, he couldn't get cigarettes, and you'd think he'd had Tourette's. He later meets Takumi, a great friend of Chip and Alaska's. He is sleek and is always there for the troublemakers to fall back on. Finally, Pudge meets Alaska. He instantly is pulled towards her with an immense attraction he's never felt before. He is pulled toward her unpredictability and sad but charming nature. She is a provider of cigarettes and alcohol for the group, although Pudge has never touched either before meeting them. He never really gets into it, but he likes to observe his friends and their tangents on life. Within the reckless and insightful Alaska, confident and bull-headed Colonel, shy and sweet Pudge, and intelligent and sly Takumi, the group causes ruckus from time to time. Pudge learns very soon that no one snitches on each other at Culver Creek. Whether someone is your very best friend or your enemy, you never ever rat on them. Before classes began, Pudge got to see an ugly case of the effects of a rat. Classmates of theirs were caught smoking, drinking, and in sexual intercourse, and they were both kicked out. For the rest of the year, there was a strong tension between groups, and everyone was trying to find the rat. Later, Alaska was found to be the rat. Throughout the year, Alaska and Pudge have an assignment in their philosophy class that sparks his want to find his great perhaps. He believes it's an unknown concept that goes beyond the labyrinth of everyday experiences. He believes it is a wonderful place. Alaska had trauma with her father and mother, and she hid it from and didn't speak about it much with her friends. The night that she left campus in panic, she was romantically with Pudge, being upset and confused with her relationship with Jake. However, Pudge is deeply in love with a damaged Alaska, and she is very much so uncertain about all of her feelings. Pudge had to battle confusion himself because all semester he was basically set up with a girl named Laura, but he didn't feel the same fire he did for Alaska. So, that dreadful night that they are together, Alaska gets a mysterious call and leaves in a sobbing rush. After this comes the second part of the book that shows how every individual dealt with the grief of Alaska's death. They never really could figure out if it was simply an accident or suicide. Alaska went straight and fast, something that she circled in a book she was reading. So I believe that it was an opportunity she saw, an ideal she made for herself, and she decided that in the moment to take her life without a swerve. The book Looking for Alaska is a piece that I will never forget. It showed the angst of teenage life with learning about one's boundaries, limits, and heights. It is a uniquely set up book, with death right in the middle of the story and explaining the grief up until the end. The second part of the book shows the healing process, or that one never actually heals but tries to understand the inevitability of death, of mystery of life or death, accident or suicide. Pudge learns that all that matters in the end is that you show people that you are there for them and demonstrate how powerful friendship and love is. That when things are overbearing, people can come together and create support, so it becomes somehow bearable as time goes on. The end isn't the end. The novel is wonderful, and it was recently made into a series on Hulu. The themes Green discusses throughout his fictional book, I believe, are essential to learn to growing up. In the 8-episode limited series, the story was represented well, and the actors are just what I pictured in my head, especially the beautiful Christine Froseth starring as Alaska. I hope I sparked some wonder into John Green's first published story, and you can enjoy it brought to life. Thank you.